Hey guys, Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlshakes.com. Today I want to talk about why it's okay to double text a girl. Now, what I mean by double texting, because I know there's a, oh, you're not going to double text a girl, she's going to think you're a loser. Yeah, if you do it like this, okay? If you send, hey, at 5:28, and she doesn't respond, and then you send her fucking another one that says, sup at 7:20. Yeah, okay, no, don't fucking do that. Of course, she's gonna think you're a fucking loser and you have nothing else to do and you're desperate for her attention. That's not what I mean by double text. What I mean by double text is this. So, hey, how are you? Let's grab a coffee soon. So, I'm kind of playing with the terminology here, but it's pretty obvious. Hey, how are you? Let's grab a coffee. You're sending 3 texts at the same time instead of sending, hey, period, how are you, period, let's grab a coffee soon. Now, does this spacing versus sending it as one text really make a big difference? Because this is gonna show up as a text, this is gonna show up as a text, and this is gonna show up as a text. Yes, it actually makes a big difference. When you're dealing with texting, and I've explained this in many videos, and I'll put a couple in the description below to give you some of the philosophical theory of why this is important. But I'll go over very simply what it is. The aesthetics of how you send texts are almost as important as the actual texts themselves. Now, this is something that I've learned from just fucking thousands of conversations over text. Women don't want to get a big fucking wall of text. They don't want to get something that seems, oh wow, I gotta read this. You know, if you get a text from someone, it's a big fucking wall of text, you're very likely to go off to the next conversation. Kind of like if you see a YouTube video in the first 5 seconds, it's like, yeah, no, I don't want to watch this. Click, right? We have very short attention spans. So we're looking for the thing that is going to keep us entertained. And so when you're dating a woman or you're trying to date a woman, you got to realize there's other guys in her inbox. There's other guys in her DMs and in her WhatsApp and her text messages. So she's going to be basically playing a game of who's the best, right? And it's your job as a man to outcompete the other men. And one way that you can outcompete the other men is to adapt to the medium that you're using as communication. We're using text message conversations. It's not a letter, it's not an email, it's not a fucking smoke signal, right? It's not sign language, it's a fucking text message. And so it has a particular aesthetic structure. And so when you are dealing with someone's inbox, you must understand, how do I make this attractive to read, easy to read, clear to read, in the same way that you make yourself nice to look at, right? You wear a cool shirt, you wear cool jewelry, you take care of your skin, you get buff, right? You eat healthy, you have a cool hairstyle, I don't know, you have fucking chest hair popping out of your shirt. Whatever it is that's gonna make you more attractive in person, you also have things that are make you more attractive over text message. And so one way to do this is through spacing, okay? So when you're sending girls texts, think, maybe I can send this bigger text into 3 smaller texts, and it's actually going to seem more inviting. And also, it's usually more inviting to see a text message that says, like on Instagram, it's gonna say 3 messages, right? So this is 1 message, but it's going to have 3, and it's gonna pique her interest. She's gonna think, what's in there? And then when she actually goes to look at the inbox, she's gonna say, it's not gonna say, oh, he's very skilled with the aesthetics of his text message skills. He must have watched Poppy's videos, right? That's not what's going on. But it's going to seem beautiful. It's typesetting, it's formatting, it's art. And so adapt to the medium you're dealing with and learn how to send these messages in a much more easily digestible way. Here's the first text, here's the second, here's the third. Think of how you read text messages. And this seems so small and so stupid, probably. You're like, okay, is this gonna make a big difference? Yes, because it's gonna make the difference between her choosing to respond and her not choosing to respond. Now, if she doesn't want to respond to you, you didn't pick her up that well, you got her number or Instagram, but she's really not that interested and she just gave it to you to be nice or polite, or maybe she's kind of on the fence about you. This can be the difference between 1% more her liking you, and over the long run of dozens and hundreds of girls, or even thousands, depending on how active you are, it's going to possibly mean the difference between a date this week and not a date this week. So you have to tip the odds in your favor every way that you can. And I'm gonna tell you, I've seen with pretty darn consistent, like extreme consistency, that if you are sending your text messages in an attractive way with your punctuation, with your emojis, the whole shebang, you make that art beautiful and you space this correctly, she's gonna be more likely to respond. Now, are there some exceptions of when you can actually do the first joke example where you sent her a text and you wanna send her another text later? There's a few. First is if you have a date. So let's say you guys were texting and the last thing you said she didn't respond to, but you have a date tomorrow or the next day. Okay, obviously you send her a fucking text. Hey, I'll meet you at the front of the Starbucks. You don't have to have the situation where she's like fucking bombarding you with text messages and then, because I have this feeling sometimes I'm like, oh, she didn't respond to that text. Does she not like me anymore? Do we still have the date, right? And then you're gonna wanna text her the next day to like reinitiate the conversation, but don't worry about it. If the last conversation you had, she didn't necessarily respond, it's okay to double text, which this is the traditional meaning of like you send a text, she doesn't respond, and you send another one. I get it. But this is an instance where it's okay. If you have a girlfriend, obviously, you can talk to her a little bit. I mean, if you're constantly double texting her and she's not responding, then you probably don't have a girlfriend anymore. It's probably someone else's girlfriend. If you're still trying to get a girl, and you're still in the talking phase or the dating phase where you guys maybe went on 1 date or 2 dates, if you don't hear from a girl, you can text her a few days later. Sometimes you gotta be persistent. It's happened to me before where a girl stops talking to me and then I'll hit her up 3 days later, 4 days later, 5 days later. Now there's a whole art of persistence to that, but it is okay to text her again. Now some of you have the mentality of, she doesn't respond, fuck that bitch, she missed out on Mr. Alpha. Okay, there's some benefits to that mentality, and I would say there's some flaws to it. It definitely shows a level of self-respect and self-esteem, but at the same time, I don't really think it takes that much effort and isn't gonna lower you in her eyes too much. If she's already not interested in you, I'd rather try one last time or last 2 times, and who the fuck knows, right? Maybe she's gonna think I'm a loser, but who gives a shit about her opinion, right? If you truly don't care about her opinion, maybe hit her up in a few days. Maybe she's gonna be like, oh, hey, sorry, I forgot to respond, or I can't believe I didn't respond. I mean, that's usually bullshit, She probably saw it and just didn't think it was that interesting, so you have to work on your texts. But I've had situations where I didn't get responded to, and then I tried a few days later, or like a week later, and it was technically a double text. Sent it, seen, not read even, sent another one, and then we reinitiated the conversation and met up and had stuff happen. We had sex, we had a date, whatever. So it can be a worthwhile persistence. And then if you have a date, would you ever want to do it like the same day? Possibly. Now this is a little bit more advanced, but let's say you send a text and let's call this an audible, right? You sent a text, she left you unread, and then you're like, fuck, maybe that wasn't the best, text to send her. Maybe later on, if you see something funny, you can you want to persist, but not in like an annoying way. Then you can be like, oh, just send her a meme. Send something that you saw that was interesting, and just try and, because in audibles, obviously when you change your formation. So this was your first attempt. She dodged it, and you're like, let me get another one and try it again. Like, fuck this, try this. Don't do it so much and don't abuse it, but it's worth possibly trying to, you send a text and then you go see a movie later and you'll be like, oh, I just saw this amazing movie. It was really cool. What that shows is an interesting dynamic. Yes, you're chasing a little bit because you're double texting her, but at the same time, you are showing you're not fazed by a little bit of roadblocks, a little bit of turmoil, a little bit of resistance. You're okay with pushing through it. And that's something that really works well with women, is when you're not, oh, I made one mistake, she didn't respond, fuck her, right? You're not so sensitive, right? You should still have self-respect. I'm not saying to fucking throw yourself at her through the DMs, and instead of sliding through her DMs, you fucking bulldoze through them. But there is a level of playful persistence and finesse that you can do in a girl's inbox that can separate you from the other guys. Because what the other guys are doing is they're literally double texting. Hey, what's up? How are you? Doesn't hear back. Hey, what's up? How are you? And he's just like going the same direction, whereas I'm going, and I just go to a different place. And so you can send her a meme, you can send her something funny that happened, or you can just wait a few days and then hit her up again. Or again, like I said, if you have a date planned, then it's okay. Don't let it get to your, hit you in the dick. It's okay if she didn't respond to the last text, but you still have a date set up and you're assuming, who cares? She didn't respond to one text, not a big deal, whatever, we still have a date, all right? And then you go for it and you continue to set up the logistics as normal, and then you have the date. So we kind of had two different topics here based on the interpretations of a double text, but I wanted to take the first few minutes to explain the importance of aesthetics in texting and the importance of spacing and formatting. So take your time next time you're sending a text message, say, how can I make this look cleaner aesthetically through spacing? And I think you will see a large improvement in the excitement and the frequency of the girls who are responding to you. And then also here's a few exceptions of situations where it's okay to double text within a decently rapid amount of time after getting left unread or unread, and to text her again and to double text her. But it's okay to double text a girl, just don't be fucking annoying about it, and do it in a way that is attractive, and you will see a slight increase in your results with women based on your text game. Okay, cool. Hector Castillo, Poppy from girlchase.com. Follow me on Instagram, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you very soon.